Good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm here with my cracky voice at 9 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to talk a little bit about cycles today because as we're moving more and more into October, or I should say November, because it's just down around the corner, um, here where I live, the temperatures at night are below zero. They don't go that high in the day, even though it's clear. But the cycles of life, nature has cycles. And sometimes we forget life has cycles. Yes, we have a birthday every year. We have Christmas. We have Thanksgiving. We have Easter. A lot of religious holidays in there. Some are not. We have sports. We have other things that we follow in cycles. But we forget sometimes that in the cycle, different elements and different things happen to us, around us, how we feel, how it all works, how it comes together. This is where inner communication with yourself is very important, to be able to know what it is you feel on the inside or what you think on the inside, because that was what gets projected outside. That is what becomes your vibration, your cycle. And often what we perhaps need to do, I could say should do, but we don't always do what we should do. But what we may need to do is to turn our back on certain cycles that we do, certain cycles of behavior, certain cycles. Sorry, my throat and tongue get a little bit still not healed properly yet. We still, what's the word I want to say? We would be perhaps more effective if we let certain behaviors and explore feelings so that they can disappear and we can move on in our life in a different, effective way. And that is all about acceptance of ourselves fully. Very often we reject, I don't want this anymore. I don't want that anymore. I don't want this. I want that, but I don't want this. But we're not really processing. We're not really looking at what is the cycle. I have enough cycles of my life now when I can look back and I can see the difference of where I was at different times in my life. I hadn't learned certain things yet, or I was still exploring. And I've just been reading some novels, a section of novels, very light, easy novels. But it talks about how we progress in life. How in our 20s we're one way, and in our 30s we're another, in our 40s and our 50s we're in another. And sometimes when we get older, we look back, but when we're young, we don't do that. We don't have that experience yet. We don't have the experience of understanding. Now, I was fortunate. I did a lot of past life regression work, a lot of inner work as I moved from my 20s into my 30s towards 40s. A lot of inner work went on. A lot of self-exploration. I began to understand some of the cycles. Did it mean I always was, on top of everything? No, it certainly did not mean that. But it meant I understood cycles. And I was reading for people and could see their cycles, repeated patterns over and over again. Sometimes we just have to sit back and contemplate what really is going on with us. Where are we? What are our dreams? What are our goals? What are our hopes? Because at different parts of our lives, we have different cycles, we have different elements that happen and take place. And sometimes we have to sit back and kind of regroup. Now, that means we need to do a lot of acceptance. Sometimes that element of acceptance means accepting things we're not maybe super proud of, wish we weren't like. I mentioned, I think it was on Wednesday, that I can get crabby sometimes when I'm a little upset or not feeling well, which my children knew very well, but very few other people kind of run into, except some close friends, ex-husbands too. They all knew that. We're not perfect little beings that are, sanctimonious. We're human beings. We experience, and we have different ways of handling it. I never was an angry person per se, although I can feel anger. I'm not angry. my bottom part, my essence of me is not an angry person. You can get crabby, yeah, but you need to understand who you are. You need to understand what triggers you. So what throws you into that cycle? What throws you into that beingness at the time? Because if you don't understand that, it's just like when fall comes, you forget to put a heavier coat on when you're going outside because it's cold. And you're going to get cold and chilled and maybe end up having a cold from that or the flu or whatever, because your system is trying to adjust. Internal understanding of yourself. And I always find that once people hit 30, that really can begin. That you can do that. In the 40s, it needs to be done because that is where you're really beginning to come into the sense of understanding who you are in relation to your life, what your goals are, what you're wanting to create, what you're wanting to do. And if you haven't done any self-examination, if you haven't done any looking at your own personal cycles, your own personal feelings, your own personal awareness of who and what you are, what triggers you, and how do you respond when you get triggered? How do you respond about certain elements? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What makes you want to retreat? What makes you want to go forward? It's all relative to the vibration of your life, because how you are today will be what the future will be. In some aspect, maybe not right away, but it'll be in your vibration going out. Something will occur and that will be back in your face. That's what I love about life. That's why I love about people's lives, why I love working with them, helping them transform old patterns that have been stuck. And many people are not even wanting to look at that. And I want anybody out there listening who is beginning a path of looking at who they are. Congratulations. Congratulations. Some people have done a lot of work, finally end up, perhaps with me, doing some of my work. And it shows those who have done other work. And I congratulate them for being willing to go inside and look and clear whatever they can, even though to me, much of that clearing has been done what I call surfacey. It still helps because it means there's less to clear and deeper one can go. We are deep beings. We have had many, many, many experiences, this life, other lives, or whatever, many of them. But what are we doing with that knowledge? What are we doing with that awareness? What are we doing? Hopefully accepting and making different decisions. Everything is based with decisions. That's what a lot of people don't understand. The decisions that you make, and as I've said many times, decisions that you've made eons of time ago, that they're in your subconscious, that they come on out. They show themselves. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. You just make that decision again. You don't even recognize that. And the same pattern then begins again and again and again. Some people do it with relationships. They go from one relationship to another, and somehow there's always seems like the same thing comes up, or it hits them, or they react, or they do whatever. Excuse me. Some people do it in business. Some people have beliefs, attitudes about money, about anything and everything. You need to check those. You need to explore them. And some of them you need to let go of and change. And you can change. You can. And that's the beauty of life. So the Sunday thought this morning really is about your cycles. What are your cycles of life? Just like right now in November, we're really heading into winter here. We have longer winters here than a lot of people do. And this year I knew, actually, I'll tell you a little secret. I was sitting outside looking at my flowers, and it was like getting towards the end of July. Now we usually have, it was the end of August, sorry, pardon me. Now we usually have a late what I call a late summer, like it goes into September, maybe even into October. And I was looking at one of my flowers, and I have them in buckets, and I was looking at it, and it told me, no late summer this year, Norma. No late summer. And I went, what? Because I really enjoy that late summer when it's still nice and crisp, and yeah, it's a hint of fall, but it's warm. I like heat. And I went, oh really? And I knew then, long cold fall, winter. I just knew. So I prepared everything a little bit earlier than I would do, put my flowers to bed, and got everything sort of sorted out that way. Cycles. Life has cycles. The earth has a cycle. Unfortunately, man interferes with nature's cycles, and that upsets me, but that's me. Left alone, the world always works to balance itself. We work to balance ourselves. The trouble is we don't always understand who we are, why we're doing things, and where it's going. So part of it is looking at our lives and accepting, this is me, and where do I want to be, and what do I need to shift to get there? Take a look at your cycles. Nature's doing it right now. It's heading to up, and I'm in the northern hemisphere, so it's winter. My brother, who is in the southern hemisphere, is heading towards summer. Yes, how nice. They're going to be having heat. But anyway, I just want to wish you well this Sunday. I want you to remember you are who you are. You're comprised of all your decisions, your beliefs, attitudes, your judgments, everything. And you're loved for that. And you're supported for that. And you can move forward. I want to thank you very much for watching. I want to thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscriptions that are coming in. I thank you. I also want to let you know today is Sunday, but I will be back tomorrow night for mental mind treatments, 7:00. And I'll be live to take a look at what's going on in your life and see what we can do. Thank you very much. Have a great Sunday and for the rest of the week. Bye now.